Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to another video brought to you by Total Control Traders. First of all, thank you everyone for your support, for watching, subscribing, and sharing our channel. We have just reached 200 subscribers. Thank you very much for everyone's support. All right, so there's quite a bit to cover in today's video. Let's get right into it without any delay. First one, I'm going to start it off a little bit different today. We're going to look at QQQIWM. Now, last time we looked at it, it was somewhere around the GP and we were anticipating a rejection. Now we saw that rejection and we are still seeing some support on this trend line. For those of you that don't know what this QQQIWM is, it's basically NAS over RUS. So it's a comparison between the relative strength for either NAS or RUS. So as the chart goes up, NAS is going to be strong as it's on the top of the equation, divided by RUS, and as the chart goes down, RUS should see relative strength comparing to NAS. So as of right now, we are seeing relative strength in NAS versus RUS over the Friday and today. Now what I'm anticipating from here is with this bounce, if we're to see a double top, and I would expect either a double top or a little bit higher, forming a daily bear divergence, we should see another rejection. And upon the next rejection, I would anticipate that it is gonna go break bear on the trend line, but we're gonna have to watch for that as the chart has remained strong. Now the last time we really discussed this was when it went double top on this monthly chart. We can see previous top 1.92, 1.92, double top. And from here, we have bounced from this long-term trend line. And since then, NAS has been relative in strength versus RUS. Now, if you're familiar with both NAS and RUS charts, you should see that RUS has been in a sideways action for, how long is this? Eight or 9 months now. So once it starts breaking bull, if and when it starts breaking bull, we should see very either aggressive or dragged out long-term bullish action on RUS. Meaning that would be the time that, that's why we're watching this trend line. Once it breaks bear on this trend line, we should see decent follow through on RUS bulls in comparison to NAS. All right, next let's take a look at SPX. So some bearish action on SPX today. We did lose that 88 ever so slightly. Gonna need to see whether there's follow through tomorrow. Now, this day's volume is not really in consideration because it is a holiday volume, because we are looking at SPX. Now we're gonna need to see tomorrow what it looks like, whether there's follow through. Every time we did lose the 88, if you look back, every time that we closed under the 88, we did see follow through the next day. There was no close under over here. The next day, okay, so this one didn't really, maybe ever so slightly. No, we closed on it. So this one closed under and we saw follow through the next day. This one closed under, we saw follow through the next day. And there's no closing under any of that. This one closed under. Little bit of follow through with buy up the next day, but unable to close over the 88 and then follow through the next day. This one was an exception. Slight close under with no follow through. Immediate buy up the next day. But yeah, so being a little bit more cautious right now. My accounts are in about 80-90% cash as of right now, just being a little bit more cautious because we have seen sideways action and there's bearish action coming today, closing under that 88. Next is NAS. NAS, it's still grinding up on that 88. There's no significant red flag on NAS yet. There is a short-term trend line that we have been rejecting from. There's a long-term trend line that was support before. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 bounces, depending on how you count it. On this white longer term trend line, it became resistance and we're now over it, sort of chopping around it. But short term looks to be the resistance trend line. Right now, nothing really notable on NAS yet. RUS, we are seeing a little bit of pullback today. I would anticipate another day or two Now this would be most ideal even for bulls. Another day or two of bearish action finally forming that daily higher low. This one, again, I wouldn't really call this a daily higher low. It is one bear day followed by a next huge buy up day. So if you look on the daily chart, if you zoom out, you wouldn't really consider this a daily higher low. It's basically just one shot up. So now we're going to have to look for that daily higher low, ideally another day or two. Most ideal for bulls would be hold this previous resistance area, low of 2250. And as for Dow, we are seeing bearish action. We are closing right on that previous all-time high zone. This 35,101. We close just ever so slightly under it. Money line, short-term money line is coming up. So on Dow, this was the money line before. So let's actually make it proper here. This is the short term. Yeah, this is the short-term trend line where we're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we are coming up right on it going into tomorrow. So a little bit more bearish action now with the leading indicators. Let's take a look. So US dollar is making a higher low. If we see follow through next 2 days, that would be a little bit of a red flag for the market on US dollars. Gold, nothing significant. We are seeing a fourth rejection on this GP. Significant rejection today. Coming back to this previous resistance. Gonna have to watch for action around here, but there is no significant red flag for the market based on gold yet. Significant red flag is on Bitcoin. So on Bitcoin, we got to GP, got to that key zone. Let's take a look at this key zone here. 52,618. High of 52,780,921. So it's, if I zoom in, it's like basically right there on that lower part of the key zone. We did overshoot the golden pocket, the GP, a little bit, but got to that key zone and immediate rejection, harsh rejection, coming to that trend line that we were watching before. This used to be a resistance, became support again here, and then became resistance here again. So this is a very notable trend line. This money line on Bitcoin, basically support, resistance, came over, chopped around it a little bit, and now we saw a bounce right from it. Even the fibs didn't work on this bounce. If you were tracking the fibs, yeah, this is the right fib. We got past under the 0.386 before the bounce. Trend line worked out perfectly on this. So with this, I would anticipate a little bit further rejection. We're gonna have to watch for a actual one or two more days kind of thing. This was an immediate sell-off. So the bounce, now if you were to zoom into the closer time frames, you can see volume climax right here. So the sell, where is this? 730. So it's increasing bear volume starting the day, and then the sell pressure really started going into volume climax right at that trend line, and that's where we saw a huge bounce from. So with Bitcoin, 30-minute, we are chopping around that 8. So we're watching the hourly 8 right now. Essentially, it is an hourly bear flag right now. Last time we saw hourly bear flag was right here before the huge sell-off opening the market today. Okay, so hourly bear flag, 4 hours, not really oversold yet, and there is very notable decreasing bull volume. This could go on a sideways action for quite a while because the RSI is at 29. So if we were to go on a sideways action for quite a while, that would be a warning sign for the bulls for a next leg, before a next leg down. Even the 8 hours got straight from 72 RSI to 36. Daily still okay. So we could see tomorrow is likely an inside bar, followed by a day after, depending on what tomorrow looks like, could be another double inside bar. And then from there, was watch for bear flag confirmation if we don't see the immediate V shape over the next 2 days. And HIVE, bearish engulfing candlestick, very notable. Bear volume is not exactly there, but very notable bearish engulfing candlestick. Did not lose that 88 yet. If you are in the trade and you have not exited yet, watch for that 88. Upon the loss tomorrow, if we see follow through tomorrow losing that 88, closing under the 88, that would be your exit signal. But based on Bitcoin, I would anticipate inside bar tomorrow. Give it another day or two kind of thing before a follow through on HIVE. All right. Next comes the hottest tickers. Now we're gonna move this around. The hottest ticker that I'm watching now is Amazon. So with the weekend video, we talked about how this was a all-time high move that was stuffed. Now if I had to zoom out earlier today, woke up extra early to look at the charts today. When I look at this on a different perspective, Amazon is actually the perfect setup that matches every single tick boxes for double wolf pattern. Okay, so breakdown fake out right here, and then we were watching this to be the GP and new all-time high, and then got wolfed. So new all-time high that got stuffed. But essentially what you should be looking at, what I realized what we should be looking at is breakdown fake out, new all-time high. So checkbox number 1, checkbox number 2, and then new all-time high breakout fake out, coming back to the GP, holding that GP. So checkbox number 3, 1, 2, 3. From here, anticipation is that we will see a new all-time high, and we are seeing relative strength on the chart already. Amazon anticipation before, probably by the end of the year, would anticipate about 4,800. Now that might be an ambitious target if we were to look at the price right now. From here to 4,800, we're looking at about 38% move on a blue chip tech name. But Amazon would remain on my personal top watch going forward, and will be remaining in the trade. Right now, I'm not in a trade. We did take profit on this day. 19 point some was the profit taking, so it's 8 points off. But let's see, 35.28. 35.27. So short term wise, there is a 4-hour bear divergence right now. We did make new high today with that lower RSI, so there is a 4-hour bear divergence right now. I am looking at an initial entry of 30 right about here, 0.382, 33.92, which lines up with this previous support resistance. That will be my first initial entry, but I don't anticipate the pullback to be any further than that based on what I'm seeing in the chart. GP hold, again, this double wolf pattern, breakdown, fake out, breakout, fake out, GP hold, and we should see a new all-time high very soon on the chart. Daily is not extended. We are at about 64 RSI. So I would anticipate daily higher low to come, especially if the market is beginning to pull back now. So watch for that. But yeah, Amazon, make sure to keep it on your top watch. Next is Apple. Okay, Apple, new all-time high, melt up. Somewhat of a melt up. So this was the new all-time high melt up. This was the new all-time high that got stuffed. So new all-time high, bull flag, melt up, and we are now at the 1-to-1 extension target of this last previous move. 1-to-1 extension target 156.52. We did close right on it. We did wick over as usual as well. Now there's a lot of extension targets on this chart coming up. Is this 1-to-1? Yeah, 1-to-1 target again from this. Yeah, that's right. This move, so this low to this high to this low. 1-to-1 target is at 158.20. Now another one is the whole move wise. If you're looking at the extension target, so it'll be the low from here, 53 before the split, and to the high of the split, 137, to the low of 103. That GP also is at about 155 to 158. So there's a lot of potential extension targets here. I would anticipate some sort of reaction around 158.20 at the maximum. Right now, today we got to 157.26, closing at 156.69. So not a whole lot. Risk to reward wise, it doesn't really make sense to me. You know, with the event coming up, there could be an exception. Event was announced today, I believe, September 14th. So we could see continued running into new highs, just continue running before an actual pullback. Let's put a 1-to-1 down here as well. Ultimately, based on this breakout before the next big pullback, I would anticipate a move to 187, 188. That is based on this move's 1-to-1 extension target. Okay, it might take a while. It'll likely take a while before we get there, but that I believe is a reasonable target based on this new all-time high breakout. And remember, this is a double wolf pattern as well. So if you look at this, where'd it go? Oh no, this was the GP. No, maybe not. Okay. Was this not a double wolf pattern? Break. No, I don't see it. So on this move up, we did defend that GP along with that lower trend line before it moved to the new all-time high. But I don't see a double wolf pattern on this one. So the move, let's see, sideways action for a year. Nope. August all the way till breakout was July. So roughly a year. This move should see continuation as well, especially with that hold of GP. Yeah, Apple is going to remain on one of the top watch, but not as imminent as Amazon. Next is Netflix. So on Netflix, for those of you that follow the trades, congrats on this bull move today. We entered on new all-time high. I believe it was somewhere here, waited for the pullback, somewhere around 590-ish. Yeah, 590-ish. It was not the most ideal entry. And if we were to look at this, what is this? Oh, these two no longer apply. This one probably doesn't apply. Anyways, yeah. Money line. Okay, yeah. So on this move, I did mention that's not the most ideal entry, but I wanted to get in because there is a chance that this chart is going to keep on running. Now, the most ideal entry, now if we were to look at this, breakdown, fake out, break. Did not get that breakout, fake out yet, but we did come back to defend the GP. So it's very similar to Apple versus the matching to the T for double wolf pattern. But breakdown, fake out, basically almost a breakout, fake out, but didn't get to the new highs. Defended the GP, continuation. So based on this, in comparison to Apple, would anticipate some sort of sideways action kind of thing like this before a next leg move up. NFLX. So from here, I did personally take profit on Netflix today, just because when I'm looking at that daily chart, the daily is at 85 RSI. Yeah, so it's very similar. When we look at this, Apple, it got to about 80. Got to about 80, 81 RSI before pulling back there. It was somewhat of a trend line here. Somewhat. But yeah, anyways, a pull back before a next leg move up. So that's what I'm anticipating on Netflix. Let's see. Oh, there is a trend line. Okay. And would you look at that? Almost to the penny, eh? So there could be another move tomorrow on Netflix. Rejection, rejection, trend line coming up on Netflix. There could be another move tomorrow, maybe a wick over a little bit. But based on the daily chart, I'm comfortable taking profits from here. It is somewhat pretty extended on here, as well as the daily RSI is overbought. And next is, oh, wait a minute. So let's say if we were to pull back from here. This is one single move. I'm not really seeing too much of a confluence. 0.5 maybe. 0.382 would make sense because it does line up with this resistance here. Yeah, so that would make sense there. 573 would be an ideal first re-entry. Again, first entry is always going to be small sizing on this kind of thing. And then most ideal, I want to see what the reaction looks like around the 0.382 and the top of the key zone for re-entry. All right, next is Tesla. So Tesla, we saw fairly decent bullish action today. Again, took profit on Tesla just because I wanted to go a little bit more conservative, protecting cash, reserving for that next opportunity. So with Tesla, let's clean the chart up a bit. Quite a bit of stuff here. Yeah, this one's okay without. And we're okay without this one too. So 1-to-1 extension, 0.786. I like this one here because I still want to remind me of where the last bounce came from. The last bounce came from 0.786, meaning this move should be somewhat a little bit weaker. So wouldn't really anticipate a touch of this upper trend line. We could see continuation into that 774 target, 1-to-1 extension target that we were looking at before from back here. But ultimately, the most recent move is this one. So 1-to-1 extension target has been reached today and we surpassed it, rejecting from under this resistance, support resistance, 762, got to 760.20 today. Based on this chart, would anticipate a daily higher low relatively soon. Even if we're to get to the 774, ideally the bulls want to see a move to 774 to negate this ever so slight daily bear divergence that we have right now. So tomorrow into the day after continuation, 774, top of key zone. Risk to reward wise, it didn't really make too much sense for me to continue holding on Tesla. Our entry was 649.14 or something. It was like very close to the bottom. But anyways, from here we have had a move of 16 to 17% already. Over how many days is? 15 days, 14 days. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Okay, so Tesla anticipating a daily higher low, possibly after another day or two of running. In any hope of touching this upper trend line, we're gonna need to see a follow through tomorrow closing over this daily resistance, support resistance at 762. Okay, next are the requested tickers. First one, NUMI. Looks like we're doing okay on time so far today. NUMI does not look good. So we lost the money line. This money line was previous slight. Yeah, very slight support here. Became resistance, became support again, support again, support again before it bounced up. Money line, and then we lost it again here, became resistance, resistance, resistance. Probably can be drawn a little bit better. Don't like how those resistance work. Maybe over here? No, it doesn't seem to respect it as well. Anyways, regardless, we have lost that long-term trend line. And from here, we are losing this short-term trend line as well. So for those of you that are in the trade, once the 83 is lost, the only support down below now is looking at 74. And then once that is lost, we'll be looking down at about 64. It looks like, daily trend has not changed. Every now and then you see a pop here, and the pop gets faded out, and then you see another pop, and the pop gets faded out again. So the way it stands, you do not want to see a close below this top of key zone. So it says 80 cents. This one closes 80 cents. Yeah, you do not want to see a close below 80 cents. If we close below 80 cents, that is a big big red flag right now based on this, even this trend line right here. Yeah, it's already a red flag. I can see over the next few days. Probably keep a close eye on it if you're in the trade. New me, not looking too hot, but it is forming, somewhat forming a base here. If you're in and you are in the red position, probably put a stop down below 74 cents or even below 64. Yeah, just depending how much you're willing to tolerate. 64 is the low from back here where we saw multiple supports. 74 is a shorter term support, because once both of those are lost, we'll be looking at 53. All right, next is CGX. So we're looking at this chart a week or two ago. Had an alert set on this chart and it went off today. Seems like the follow through is so far somewhat decent. Thought about an entry. Yeah, thought about an entry here because we can see clear support level right here and we're wicking from it. But no, CGX, it's when I look at it, upside for reopening wise, it's not gonna be, I don't anticipate it to be a whole lot personally, just because if you know, when I think about it, a lot of people are going to be used to Netflix. They probably have their home set up with either projectors or something that's a little bit more theater like now. You know, for someone to go 2 years without movie theater, they would either get used to it or they probably have something set up. Of course, there's the other kind of situations where, you know, you're going out on a date, then that's completely different, right? If you're going out on a date, movie, it's kind of a given. But aside from that, you know, it's not gonna be on everyone's weekend relaxing thing anymore. Not nearly as much as pre-pandemic, right? So that when I think of it from that way, the upside of it is a little bit more limited, especially when I look at the weekly chart. You know, when I look at the weekly chart, unless it breaks over this upper trend line, this long-term upper trend line, and I do see a third rejection before an actual breakover. Unless we break over this upper trend line, I'm not going to be looking at too bullish for CGX. There is a lot of resistances up ahead as well. There's key resistance we're not even able to break over. When I look at, you know, back here, we rejected from this area, became support multiple times, multiple weeks to be exact, and we're now rejecting from it twice already, 3 times already from that area again. So when I look at CGX, I'd rather wait for a bull break over this trend line. It's not exactly a lower trend line to be found either. So it's not going to be easy chart to play. All right, next is some of the other tickers I'm watching, keeping on top watch. First one being Airbnb. Took profits on this today. This is probably not the best time to take profits on this name, especially with the bull move today and the decent bull volume coming in today. If we're to see follow through bull volume tomorrow, we could be looking up at this top of key zone already, which brings up to 172 and sitting, whoa, closing is exactly at 165. So that's another $7. 4% move. Today was a 4% move. Bull's going to need to see that follow through tomorrow. The daily trend is in bull's favor. When I look at this chart, however, when I sold was back here on that daily double top. And it was looking like a daily bear divergence. It still is a very slight daily bear divergence. We are in that GP. We're in that 1-to-1 extension target from this move back here as well. So there's 3 reasons for me to, actually there's one more. Lower part of the key zone at that time. So there's 4 reasons for me to exit, take profit. We were in from all the way somewhere back here. 130s. Oh no, that was another play. So we played this all the way to like here. Didn't get this part. But then we had a second play from 142. Yeah, 142. So that's already been very... This was our most recent play, 142, all the way till today. Didn't nail the top. 162, I think was a sale. Double top ish 160, yeah, just under 163. So this was a 14% move already over how long? 11 trading days. Yeah, very happy with that. So from here, want to see what tomorrow looks like. If we're to see one of the reasons why I'm a little bit more how do I put it, a little bit more protective is because of how the markets look. So if from here markets start pulling back, this move could very well get stuffed, and given where the chart is at, if it gets stuffed, we could see a decent move to the downside, making that daily higher low. So again, you zoom out daily chart, you look at this, that's not exactly a daily higher low. This is a daily higher low, right? So with this daily higher low, we're making daily higher high, could potentially be coming back to make a daily higher low. I do really love how this back tested though. When we look at this, it back tested on both the bar chart as well as the line chart. Immediate back test. This could continue to run before for another quite a while before a pullback. So ABNB, really like the chart. Gonna be watching for a re-entry if we do see early sign of continuation tomorrow. Next is MRNA. All right, so the scenario didn't work out. We did see a close over that key resistance on Friday, so that was a sign of potential negating this pattern that we were expecting. Close over on increasing bull volume, and today we saw increasing bull volume again, close near that high of day. So with that, we are negating this pattern. We were hoping for this pattern for that most ideal entry right at the GP as along with that short-term trend line around 300. But with this now not happening, it's more looking like a there is a potential for a cup and handle setup from here. So the cup would be right here with the handle coming up to that new high. Gonna be something like that. So watch for a cup and handle. MRNA, upon a new high, we will see a daily bear divergence. So bulls do not want to see a harsh rejection. But based on the chart, I would anticipate that we're going to revisit that previous high of just under 500. Then from there, we're going to have to see what the next few days look like to confirm the pattern. Right. Next is PLTR. One of the very few positions I did not take profit on yet. So with this, we entered. Definitely didn't nail the bottom on this one. Didn't get anywhere near the bottom. I can't remember if it's this day or this day. I know it's a big difference, but it's one of these 2 days. Regardless, never came back down because we got in right before that gap up of earnings. Oh no, might have been from back here. Anyways, so with PLTR, what I like is this long-term sideways action on the gap up, earnings gap up, and continuation to run. We have never lost this previous upper trend line of the channel. From here, we saw continuation, still did not lose that daily 8. We closed under it 2 times slightly, but next day was an immediate buy up. There's big buying pressure on PLTR. On this trade, I would be only looking to add to the trade if we're to find a daily higher low. So remember, we are still very lacking a daily higher low right now. This is, yeah, it doesn't look that great. If we're to look at this, there we go. If you're not sure whether this is a daily high or low, it should be very easy to identify. So this could be called a daily high or low, and then lower high, higher low. Well, depending on how you look at it, you could say these two too. But anywhere in between, like when I look at this, this is one move down. These bounces, there's not going to be higher lows, lower high. It can be probably 4 hours. Anyway, so when we look at this daily higher low, we're gonna need to ideally make a higher high on this move, breaking over that 2750, closing over it, and RSI, let's see, the most ideal for me right now when I look at this, we could see a flash pullback and immediate buy up. I will be adding on that position if we see a flash pullback. Most ideal is a move to 31. Slowly right now it's happening before a pullback to backtest is 27.50. So what we could be expecting from here is a move up, a rejection, backtest this short-term resistance. Yeah, makes sense. So backtest this short-term resistance before a move up to 31, and then backtest this before another move up. So this is what I would expect from the chart. Right now, there is no significant red flags for me to exit. All right, next is DKNG. Whew. The one that got away. The one that got away. My goodness. So we entered on this day, the second day, the day that I noticed of this Gartley pattern. Gartley pattern, lower trend line, holding that money line. Essentially, it was a gap down, immediate buy up. Holding the money line, holding the key zone. From here, we saw immediate follow through and then followed by a daily higher low, holding that 0.382. So chart was very strong and then follow through again, but I don't know why. Sold on this day. I can't recall why anymore. Sold near that 51.52 mark. 51.52, yeah. And I was thinking, you know, it's lost at 88, the market's pulling back. We could be seeing further pullback. Instead, we held the 0.5, so that was a sign to re-enter. But slipped my mind, and now we are from the point of sell. We're looking at about 25% move up. Anyway, so DKNG is looking at continuation, and we are negating that, potentially negating that daily bear divergence right now. We did get over the GP, we did get over the 1-to-1 extension target. There's no reason for sell on this chart as of yet, as long as that daily 8 is held. Even if it's lost a little bit, you know, probably give it a little bit more room. Yeah, that's the mistake I made. Should have measured back here, you know, if we do lose the daily 8, what it looks like, how many percent. So if we were to look at this, 2.75%. So the daily 8, yeah, would not have been stopped out. Should have just used this as a guide, 2.75, 2.85, whatever. Give it a 3% kind of thing. So give it 3% from that daily 8, under the daily 8. You maybe just use a trailing stop kind of thing. I don't imagine, you know, there's no reason to sell on this chart yet. This should see decent follow through until, oh, we do have a key zone coming up, hey? Somewhere around there. Short term, oh, we are right there. Okay. And that's the all-time high zone. This is one messy chart because of this Gartley. Don't like that. What is this? Oh, 0.786 bounce. Okay. Okay, so looking at this chart, GP overshot. There is a chance that we see a rejection from this zone now. There's been 1, 2, somewhat of a support, a little bit of a support, 3 rejections from this zone that we are in right now. There is a chance that we can see another rejection from here, forming a daily higher low. So what I want to see, again, what I want to see versus what is likely to happen, don't usually line up. Most ideal, I want to see this, you know, a huge rejection, a fast rejection coming back to this key zone along with the trend line before a next leg move up. But what is more likely to happen is probably the 0.382. 0.5 would really make sense though. Yeah, 0.5 would really make sense. It would take longer. We would lose the trend line. So So there's a couple scenarios here. What we could be looking at is here before a next leg move up. We would be way overbought. Something like that. Or a slow move down, losing that trend line, and then back test. And then make a higher low. To a new high. So a couple possible scenarios. This is what I'm looking at for DKNG. Regardless, ultimately we'll be looking up higher prices on DKNG. Right now we are in that key zone. Does not make sense to buy in this price right now. Right, next is Visa. Took profit on it today because we saw when I was looking at this, we were near the daily 8 and we were seeing a stall around it right at, what was it, 380? No, 228. Stalling at 228. When we look now, zoom into the closer time frames, we can see early in the day 227.95, 227.90, 228, and was unable to break over it. So that was my sign, triple top. You know, exited at around 227.90 ish, and from there has been a sell off into the end of day, big bull volume pop. But ultimately, this is still in the daily bear trend. What could happen is we can see a new low, touch this trend line again over the next 2 days, forming a daily bull divergence. Actually, we might not even form daily bull divergence. Watch for that daily or 4-hour bull divergence. But as the way it stands right now, we can't even get over the 4-hour 8. So shorter term wise doesn't make sense. Longer term wise, still a very ideal spot for long-term portfolio hold. As long as this 221.96 holds, that should be a stop. Short term wise, maybe give it, you know, when I say that, give it some room, because I am anticipating potential new lows, bull divergence before the actual move comes. All right, next is AMD. It looks like I don't have enough time to cover all the tickers today. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna do 2 more. AMD. So still in the choppy action today. Lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high, and yeah, no clear direction. So even if we're to make a new high from here, we will form a daily bear divergence. On this, I am still looking at this ideal entry area. And when I like this chart, it's still the double wolf pattern, breakdown, fake out right here, breakout, fake out. We should be revisiting GP, whether it's going to be this GP, which is the most recent moves GP, or the whole moves GP, then we'll be down here. Regardless, I will be looking at the first entry at this previous all-time high zone, which lines up with this short-term, the last moves GP at about $97 to $98, $99. That will be my first entry mark, followed by around the $90. And next is DOCU. Yeah, DOCU. So similar idea, potential for double wolf pattern, and you know, breakdown, fake out, new all-time high. And with this, we're not seeing follow through. We saw a double top 314.76, 314.70, and today we saw bearish engulfing candlestick on low bear volume. Tomorrow, if we're to see increasing bear volume, we could very well lose this short-term support 290 very easily, meaning we can be coming back to either one of these GPs. This one is by the last move. This one is by the whole move. So one of these 2 GPs, that would be an ideal entry on DOCU. Just want to take a look at this quickly. Oh, okay. So Clove had a decent move on decent volume today. So long-term trend line, multiple rejections, bull break, came back, back test, and sideways action, and now we're seeing bull action. Yeah, would not be entering right here. What is it? 22% move, right in the key zone. We did get over the key resistance that we wanted to see a break over. Why is it there anyways? I don't like this. I like this one more. Yeah, this is the key resistance. 911, we wanted to see a break over. Yesterday Friday we opened above and got sold off into, and today was a notable difference. Huge bull volume, breaking over all sorts of resistance right into that key zone. Tomorrow I would anticipate an inside buyer. Watch for that sell volume, watch for that sell action tomorrow. But if we see follow through tomorrow, this chart could go for a squeeze, something like this, a squeeze such as this one. What, 342% squeeze potential. Watch for a follow through on close tomorrow. Right, so that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing and sharing our channel. Thank you for support. We are now at over 200 subscribers. Pure organic growth. Thank you so much. All right, I will see you guys in the next video.